let's create a new project for today. File, new, Java projects. CSE114, week 07, lab number 2. Okay. And finish. And let's now create a new class. New class over here. So now this class is going to be a template. So no main method, no. So you can say point and say finish. It's an empty class basically. So we're gonna start from scratch. So now we can say, let's do some documentation here. We can say, this is a template of two-dimensional points. It's a template, which means once we define a template, we can instantiate as many instances as we like in a tester. Okay? So now let's define the attributes. Let's make it easy. So just x and y. Okay. We can say double x, double y. Okay, let's make some documentation here. Attributes, x and y coordinates. And these variables, these attributes can be used in all methods below, including constructor, getters, and setters. We'll do each one of them in just a moment. Let's think about what we might do. Let's see how we can create a two-dimensional point. The easiest way is, I'm going to show you, let's say, 3 versions of the constructor at least. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 versions. Let's say the easiest version is, well, actually 4 versions. I want to show you 4. So now, the first version is, let's say we just have a point over here. Let's say it's called P1. We want to say what x is and what y is. For example, 2 and 3. Right? That's easy. Version number 1. Okay. Version 1 of constructor. So now we're going to have the name of the constructor must be the same as the class name, point. And then we're going to have 2 parameters, right? We're going to give the name and type of each parameter. So we're going to say double new, you can say nx for new x, just save your typing. As long as the names do not clash with the attributes here, then we're okay. Okay? And double new y. And now, hopefully you would know what to do here, right? I want to initialize x and y to be nx and ny. What should I do? Should I do nx equals x? Or should I do x equals nx? Good. Good. Very good. I'm happy. Good. Good. Exactly. Fantastic. That's version 1. Okay, let's do another version here. Let's say version number 2. I simply don't take any parameter. No. Version 2 of constructor. Point, just no input parameter. So this means both attributes x and y will have default values of integers, which is 0. Oh, for double. 0.0. Okay, that's also useful, which means if I say, let's just have a preview. If I say point, P1 is assigned to new, and then in this case, I'm calling version 1 of the constructor, right, to initialize x and y to be 2 and 3. If I call the second version, I can say point. Let me just call that maybe ORI for origin. Over here. New point. Like this. Okay? Now in this case, basically I'm creating two objects in the memory. For this line here, I have P1, which stores the address of this object here, which will be of type point. In this case, we have x and y, and their values are 2 and 3. Well, for 3.0, 3.0. And the second line here, we have another object, origin, which stores the address of just another separate point object over here. So also point type over here. Also, that object also has x and y. But now in this case, x and y will have the default values, right? 0.0 and 0.0. Okay, we have two versions here. Okay. Let's do that in the tester, okay? Just to document. Can we just create another class over here? Right click, new, and then class. Point tester. And then with the main method this time. Okay, so now create a point instance using constructor version 1. Okay, we can say point P1 is assigned to new point 2 and 3. Create another point instance using constructor version 2. Okay, let's do exactly what I wrote on the board. So point, and then origin is assigned to new point, nothing. So Java will be intelligent enough to tell which version you're calling, right? Because for version 1, there are 2 parameters. For version 2, there's no parameter. It's quite obvious. It's easy to be determined. So that's good? Okay. Now I want to show you, whenever you're done with your Java code, how you can simulate this in BlueJ. Okay? You don't have to type anymore. Just do some copy and paste. I'll show you how you can do it. Okay? I'll show you right away. So let's just go to your BlueJ over here. Go there. And remember, we created a class we created a new class called person in the lecture on Tuesday, right? Let's do another one. By the way, if you haven't created any project yet, this is what you do. You should go to projects, new project, right? And then you can actually go to wherever you like and then create the folder and file. Okay. If you're struggling with this, just tell me after the lab. I'll help you. But for now, let's create a new class. Let's call it point. So we got 2 templates so far, right? In your BlueJ project, we got person, we got point. Okay. Now double click on the points. So this is the default code that BlueJ gave to you. Usually it's useless. Just Control A, delete. Okay. Now just go back to Eclipse. I want you to go to point, Control A, copy everything, go to Edit and copy. Okay. Go back to BlueJ and paste. Everything should just compile, right? It compiles in Eclipse, must be compiled here. Compile anyway. Okay, so far follow? So now in BlueJ, we also got exactly the attributes and the 2 versions of constructors. So every time you want to do simulation about your whatever is developed in Eclipse, you can always do copy and paste to your BlueJ. Okay, to simulate. Let's do this. I want to simulate these 2 lines and see what happens. Okay. Let's close this over here. So now, make sure it's compiled. Right click on the point. You can see there are 2 versions of constructor, you see. New point with no parameter a new point with 2 parameters. What about we try the first version? Let's call that P1. That should be 2 and 3. You can see over here, BlueJ is very nice. It kind of tells you exactly what's happening under the scene, under the hood in Eclipse. You can see we want to create an instance called P1 over here. And then somehow we have to give a value for the first parameter, which is new x, nx. We want to give a value also for the second parameter, ny, right? That's why I give 2 and 3 here. Over here. And then we can say OK. So this is exactly what happened after you execute this line here in Eclipse. Okay? We're just simulating that in BlueJ. Let's do another object here. Right click. Let's now call the second version here, which is new point with no parameters. In this case, just give it a name, ORI, okay, and say OK. So you can see now we have 2 objects over here. Okay, let's inspect them quickly. If you double click on P1, you can see it's a point objects, and because it is instantiated from the point template, it got x and y. But the values for x will be 2.0, and the value for y will be 3.0. Right? Let's inspect the other objects. If you inspect on this one here, also, it's just another object from the same class. In this case, you also got x and y, but the attribute values are different, just 0.0, 0.0. Clear? Now, let's go back to Eclipse. Let's develop more methods. Can I just ask you to think about how we can define another version of constructor? I want to try this. There are some special points on the 2-dimensional plane here. Let's say if I want to create a point along the y-axis, what's so special about this point here? The x value is 0, agree? And then here, just about the distance between the origin and the point, right? So now since my 0 doesn't have to be passed as input, it's just always there. So now this is the third version I'm going to show you. Okay? Basically, the third version can be used to create the points along the y-axis or x-axis. But now here comes the issue. If you say something like this, I'll show you here. If I say point, integer, let's say y value. Let's say this is one version here. Let's define another version here. Let's say point. Oh, sorry, double. And double here. I say x value. For example, I want to define also the points along the x-axis, right? Sorry, the y-axis. In which case, I have to give the x value. X value. So these two should be different versions, right? However, this will not be allowed by Java. Why? Because somehow the name of the parameters are not the points. They are not really important. It's really about the type over here. Imagine that if this was allowed, let's say, I'm trying to prove by conjugation, right? If this was allowed, then in the tester, if I say point t2 is assigned to new point, I give you 3.0. There is no way to tell which version I'm calling, because 3.0 is just a double. I have no idea which one you're calling, right? So this should not be allowed in the first place. Now, what should we do? Somehow we should give an extra information to say, are you talking about x-axis or y-axis? Okay? So that's the new version I want to show you. I want to somehow say something like this. I can say, let's say this is 0, 3, for example. I can say point P3 is assigned to new point. And then this should be along the y-axis. I'll pass a character, for example. ambiguous, the cases. Y, and then I would say along the y-axis, and now the y value should be 3p. On the other hand, if I have 3, 0 here, I should do, so let's say this is P3, this is P4. I can say point P4 is assigned to new point. Now I can say that should be along the x-axis, and then 3. You can see by adding an extra information for a parameter, either x or y, you can disambiguate it. First of all, you should understand why we cannot simply do this. It's quite a common error. You thought the parameter name will actually disambiguate. No, because when you actually call the constructor, the name of the parameter is not important. It's really the argument value is important. Okay, let me do this very quickly since we are running out of time. I'll do this quickly, and then we're done. Okay, let me go by the point here, version 3 of constructor. Point, character, axis, and then we have, for example, here, let's say some value. Let me say just value. Okay. Double value. Now let's make an assumption. Axis is either going to be x or y. Let's not do any error handling. Okay. So assumption here. Axis is either x or y. Okay. Now, how should we do? Any suggestion about updating the value? Somehow we want to say if the input parameter got x, we should do one thing. If it's y, we got something else, right? It's one thing or the other selections. Right? So we should say if axis equals is character, right? X, we do something. Otherwise, that means axis equals y. So this means create a point, initialize a point on the x-axis. Okay, I'll give you a similar comment here. So this means initialize a point on the y-axis. Now we're going to do things differently, right? Let's do some things explicitly here. If that's along the x-axis, the y value should be 0, 0. And then the x should be the value over here. Right? Over here. On the other hand, if that's along the y-axis, then x should be 0. And y should be the value. Right? You can see depending on the extra information we give, we're going to initialize x and y differently. Right? That makes sense. Let's try this very quickly in BlueJ, and then we're done. Can we do the following? Can we just Control A, everything, edit, and copy. Go to BlueJ. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that. Now go back to point class. Double click. Should be here. Okay. Control A, delete, and paste. Okay, that's a new version there. Okay, just compile. Okay, it compiles. Now close the editor here. So now let's create. Right click and new points. So let's try this new version here, right? Let's create exactly what's on the list. What about P3? P3 is along the y-axis, right? So now we should pass the first argument should be y. So P3 here, you can say character P. Don't forget a single quote, okay? Oh, sorry, y, x, y or y. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. Y-axis here, and the value should be, let's say 3. OK, like that. That's P3. What about P4? Right click, the same version here, but now we're going to say P4. It should be along the x-axis. X here, and then 3. Okay? And say OK. Now we're going to inspect the attributes for these two objects. They should be different. What about P3? Double click on P3. You see that the x value is 0 and then y value is 3. On the other hand, for P4, x value is 3 and y value is 0. Right? The opposite. Right? That's the third version. I think you need something like this, maybe for the assignment. Okay, so please get yourself used to. I think I'll stop here, and then on Tuesday, the lab, I'm going to do more methods on the points. Okay, I'm going to upload the slides tonight or tomorrow morning. But for next Thursday's quiz, it's certainly going to cover objects. So I would suggest study as soon as possible. Okay, I'll see you next week.